Robin Charles Ellison, U Party, 77.
In 2015, Robin Ellison stood for Parliament in the Hampstead and Kilburn constituency. He was fed up of the pension system and wanted to reform it.
I think the difficulty has been that all of the initiatives have looked at individual aspects of the pension system and not the pension system as a whole.
Ronnie Carroll, Independent, 130.
He came last and was beat by around 50 votes by Ronnie Carroll, an Irish singer and entertainer who is the only singer to have represented the UK in the Eurovision Song Contest 2 years in a row.
Ding a ding a ding, ding ding, she's my ring-a-ding-ding.
He came sixth, standing as an independent, except Ronnie Carroll had died 3 weeks earlier.
Ronnie Carroll, disease.
How exactly did a dead man beat poor old Robin Ellison? In the 1983 Representation of the People Act, it was specified that if any candidate dies whilst their name is already on or planned to be on the ballot, the election should be postponed, and the name obviously not on the ballot. However, in 2006, the Electoral Administration Act added an amendment, which said that in such an instance when an independent candidate died, the rules, quote, apply to the election as if the candidate had not died. They did, however, add another bit, which meant that they were exempt from having to turn up to the election itself, which is nice, what with them being dead and all. What this means is that if a candidate is nominated, but then dies before polling day, their name will still be on the ballot paper to be voted for. If they get the most votes, it's rerun. If they don't, the election is unchanged, and if they draw first, then the surviving candidate is promptly elected. This has been billed by some as a quirk of electoral law. It's not really a quirk, it's just how the law works, and was passed to streamline the process of elections in the event of a candidate's death. But only 9 people, including Ronnie, have died during the election after all, and he was the first independent. I mean, what are the chances of someone dying in a single month between nominations closing and polling day? 3,971 candidates stood with an average age of 40, and 26% of those are female. There are 1.7 male deaths per 1,000 population, and 1 female deaths per 1,000. Well, according to the calculations of /u/Placestonic, it's around 0.3. I'll post a link to his workings in the description. Anyway, Ronnie Carroll was no stranger to strange election. In 2008 he stood as a candidate in the Hampton Price and Howden by-election, triggered by David Davis, who resigned in protest of increasing threats against civil liberties by the Labour government. Anyway, Ronnie Carroll stood as the Make Politicians History Party candidate, a party he was leader of. It was founded by Rainbow George Weiss as the Rainbow Alliance, who apparently was told to do so by an extraterrestrial soulmate called Sterling Silver. One of their key campaigns was calling for a referendum to make Belfast totally self-governing and call it best. He stood in 2008 in an effort to break a record of receiving no votes. He instead received an impressive 29 votes, although he was beaten by David "They Are All Lizards" Icke.
Hello Enric, what the heck's going on? It's my life, who knows?
Anyway, the Make Politicians History Party was dissolved in 2009 by its founder, after he was, quote, so impressed with what I have heard and seen from your politicians on the news in the past week or two, I see no need for the party to continue. Carroll stood again in 2015 as the Eurovisionary Carroll. People were even campaigning for him after he had died.
I think we'd probably be better off with all dead MPs. In fact, the last 3 weeks, you may have noticed, there's been no activity at Parliament, there has been no government. Have you noticed anything that different?
Although this was the same person who got himself banned from Sainsbury's.
I regard these corporations as my respected foe.